are back. PGA right before the U.S. Open, so the field is kind of light. It's a new course as well. This is usually when the Canadian Open is, but due to COVID, we can't go there. So we are playing a course that on paper, par 71 is over 7,600 yards. Seems like it is a very, with large and wide fairways, seems like a pretty deep and tough track, but the fairways are very firm. The ball is going to roll out, so it is not as long as you might think, but driving distance is still going to help here. And this week, we do not have a lot of elite players, so it can be tough. Or if you're at DFS Dads, we can create an edge for ourselves because we know some of these more unknown players, some of these European players that stayed in the States. They have nothing to do because they didn't want to travel back in between both the majors. So we have a lot of Euro Tour type of players playing in this event. So it'll be interesting. This is DJ's home area, and it's par 71, over 7,600 yards. Approach shots, obviously, around the green. I'll let Price touch on why he's all about around the green this week. Off the tee and driving distance. And also proximity for me over 200 yards is another is another stat that I'm looking at this week. Price, before we get into it, any touch on around the greens, why you feel like that's going to be a value, and anything else you want to touch on for this course, this tournament?
So the biggest thing about this is Fazio designed it to be, it's a really firm and fast course, which means the approach shots on a longer course with longer irons aren't going to stay on the green as often. So you're going to roll out, miss the green. So obviously that means you're not putting. So around the green game is going to come more into play than normal. Especially, I mean, I think everybody who's played it has said it's the firmest golf course they can remember playing. And so you got to think with a PGA event coming up, they're going to make sure it plays like that because they want it to be a little more challenging than just a regular person plays it. So obviously you miss green regulations, around the green game is going to be important. So that's why I'm weighting it up there with most other metrics instead of it being like 4 or 5%. I have it at 10 right now.
All right. You want to start us off at the top here? Did you want to go? What range did you? Because this is the best range because it gets a little dicey after this. So
yeah, after you get past Fleetwood at 9,500, it's I mean, you got Higo at 9,000 all the way up to DJ at 11,400. But man, if you told me last week that you'd have Garrick Higo at 9,000 and Kazire at 9,100, Poulter at 9,200, I'd say no. Like that has to be one of the worst fields ever. But I'm gonna stick with DJ personally. He's one of my favorite golfers. I know he's 11,400. It's kind of expensive, but I think he's the best player in this tournament. And Brooks is a beta who can't win if DJ decides to actually try. So Brooks been partying all weekend, watching that trash Mayweather Logan Paul fight. So I'm going DJ. I know Dustin's the opposite, but
yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of a toss-up. You got DJ playing like crap, right? Missed cut PGA, I think a 50th or 40-something before that. You got Brooks with a missed cut and then a second at the PGA. We know how he plays at majors. So you got a non-major event. So you kind of are worried, in reality, we're worried about both of them, right? They both play crappy Thursday. They might pack it in, head to San Diego, that type of deal. So there is a little bit of worry. I do lean Brooks just because his form has been better of late. He obviously got the second place. And I'm staying away from Fitzpatrick. 2 cuts, last 3 events, just hadn't been playing great. To pay 10-4 for him right now, I don't really want to go there. So I'll go Brooks, DJ, 1A, 1B.
I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit. I'm gonna fade both of them, and I'm gonna go down to Price and I's guy who we've lost a lot of money on, Tyrell Hatton. If you don't know, that he is behind Brooks and DJ. He's ranked 3rd in my model, which it usually doesn't happen, but that's how weak this field is. But his approach, his proximity to 200 plus is first. His around the green game, which Price is weighing heavily, is not the best. I am worried about that. And if I had Fitzpatrick's around the green game with Hatton, I would be a no-brainer. But we don't have that. So Hatton at 10-2, saving a grand, sometimes more, depending if you're going against DJ or Brooks. So I like it because this field is very weak, and saving over 1,000 in salary is going to help the depth of my 6-6 lineup. That's going to make the cut and take all the monies. So Price, actually, Dustin, start us out below. If there's anything else you want to touch on this top range, and then let's go down. What's the next range you wanted to go, Price?
8,900 to 75.
8,900 to 75.
We're just gonna skip the whole 9K range.
Well, we could have gone in the 9K range.
Oh, okay.
Well, they were included in the first one because there's not really shit in there besides Sung Jae and Tommy.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I'm just gonna touch on one of those. I think he's like Kazire, right? Like I kind of like him, but 9,100, hell no. Like I can't click him for 9,100. I think Sunjay's an interesting play. Fleetwood would be the only other one I'd look at. Poulter at 9,200, nah. All right, so going on 8,900 and below, the two that stick out to me. Well, there's three. My favorite three: Lucas Glover, HV3, which I know Price hates.
They're both live in the area too, I believe.
Well, there's a reason I like him. And then Yanni Vegas, who I think we all kind of like. We used him a couple weeks back on a course that was longer. It really paid off for us, and he rates out well. He hits a long way. Good at opportunities gained, par 4 scoring. So like him. So those would be my three. None of the others really ring a bell for me. What about y'all? Y'all on anybody, off anybody in this range?
The one guy I'm on that you didn't mention is Alexander Noren. His around the green game is really good. He's coming in with great form. He's placed Memorial 13th, PGA 55, Nelson 21, but he's gaining 7 strokes, 2 strokes, 5 strokes, 4 strokes, 5 strokes, 2 strokes, all doing really good his last 5 tournaments. So coming in good form. Price mentioned around the green is something he's weighing heavily. He's 15th there. He's 34th in my model. Everything else is kind of suspect, but for this type of weak tournament, I don't mind Noren at 8,900.
The only other person I would touch on would be Killer Keith. His around the green is mediocre, but I mean he rates 8. Hits the ball a mile, great off the tee, good on par 4s, and he's just a scorer. He had like a 3 tournament stretch where he played really well.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. He had that missed cut, but before that he was playing really good.
And then dropping down a little bit lower, Luke List rates out really good. He's going to be really popular because he hits the ball. He's great at everything but putting. Dude can hit it a mile. He's straight. Just god awful with the flat stick. Neesmith rates out really well as well. And then I think a lot of people are going to click Whaley again, even though he's up to 7,700 now instead of when he was egregiously priced at 62. But I really like Ben Martin right below him. He's had like 4 or 5 really good weeks in a row. Makes a lot of birdies, hits the ball pretty far, good on par 4s. And hopefully people would rather click Whaley or, Sepp Straka or JT Posted instead of him. But those would probably be my picks there. Maybe a little Bo Hogue. But I don't know if I'll get there. I'm letting you talk about Seamus.
I'm not really on him. EVR is intriguing to me just because of his price. But he's just been playing. I mean, I think he has like 4 straight missed cuts, so probably not not going to click him there. Camillo, I mean, he had a good stretch. I know we talked about it. I think you were on him that one tournament. He did well, and he has just one missed cut. So, I could see myself maybe clicking him. He's not necessarily the longest off the tee, but he's good around the green. He's good on par fours, opportunities gained. So he's kind of take the distance factor in and because he does the other things well and kind of see how it blends in. But I do like some of the others. Luke List, I think, is going to be popular, like you said. Layered. You just get into this range where these guys are usually in the 6K range, and now they're in the 7K range, and it's
they're going to get clicked because you don't know a lot of these other people.
Exactly. Tom Lewis maybe.
He's been trash the last 6 weeks though.
I know, but most of these guys have been trash or have trashy moments. So it's kind of like Rory Sabatini, 141 in the model, but hasn't been terrible, right? So it's kind of like, I don't know.
I feel you.
I don't know.
It's gonna be a tough week. I'm gonna probably dial back what I play by at least. I'll probably play a third of what I normally do. I'm gonna focus more on trying to chase the 44 qualifiers than anything, and then just play a bunch of single entry and not really mess with. I'm not gonna do a 20 build because I don't like 15 players enough to do it.
What about chasing some of the young guns like Davis Thompson from Georgia? He's a young stud.
There's a handful of the guys here. Him, John Pack, Lipsky's going to be. He's a Corn Ferry Tour guy. A lot of people like. I think they'll be pretty popular. Satoshi Kodaira is going to be, I bet, pretty popular for being 7K. He rates out well, and he should be priced a little bit higher. But I think Thompson's going to be very. I don't know if people will click him as much as bet him. But I've already seen a bunch of people on Twitter talk about Pack and Thompson betting them and betting on each ways, which is finishing top 8. But they're cheap enough to where you can play them and fit DJ Brooks. And I mean, these guys tear up the lower tour for a reason, and this isn't that big of a step above for the Corn Ferry Tour event.
Yeah,
and it's a place for them to shine, so they're gonna try. It's not
like
they're
even
going
Cole
all out.
Hammer, because Cole Hammer's another popular kid from Texas who usually plays well. I mean, there's for John Pack, who rates 12th in the model.
Yeah.
Thompson, where'd he go? He rates 15th. Lipsky's 37th. Hammer's 64th. Like, these guys rate well enough to be in lineups. So I think they're going to be pretty damn popular. But if I've looked at it correctly, I think Pack's probably higher upside than Thompson. But I would rather play Joseph Bramlett than them personally. But I don't mind cramming in those guys either, because I feel like if you're creative enough, you can fit like Brooks or DJ with Sungjae and then fit a couple of these guys in. It'd just be kind of difficult. But
what about Lebiota? If I butchered that name, I apologize.
Lebiota?
Yeah, I mean,
bro,
he's just weeks, but he played really well before that.
I know, we used him in Showdown like 3 straight rounds.
And he, rates pretty well. I mean, he hits the ball a long way. Oh no, he doesn't. Sorry, I was looking at somebody else.
He's not very far, but
he's good at all the other intangibles for the most part. I mean, he just kind of is a solid approach.
He's good with his long irons.
And then he's just been playing well, And for a guy that's 6,900, I think we have to go down there. Positive mental game as of late is a big thing in the PGA Tour. So,
yes, 100%.
To wrap up, there's one other guy that I'm going to put in at least one GPP lineup, Derek Ernst. Whenever I
gotta say it.
I love this guy. I met him in real life. Talked with him at a good length whenever we had a rain delay at my my country club where there was a web.com event. He is a ball striker. He can't putt worth a damn, but he can hit the ball with the best of them. So at min priced, I am going to throw a flyer at him and hopefully he pays off. It's just one of those things. If he pays off, it could be huge because then you could have legit Brooks and DJ in a lineup.
Well, I mean,
So-
he's clicking, right? He's min priced in a field like this. Like, if he pops off,
I think
Yeah,
I think he has the talent to play well and make the cut 100%. So we'll see.
And we're back to a full field. So there will be more missed cuts than ever. So if you get him and you get 6 to 6 through in this minefield of a player pool, you're gonna have a pretty good shot, I feel like.
So let's have some fun this week. Price says he's dialing back, doing some more qualifiers. It's a good strategy. Unless you get that itch, you get that gut that Ernst is going to make that cut. Push the chips to the middle of the table. All right.
that before.
Bang, bang. Bang, bang.